Good morning. Um, Obviously, very happy with the job that the players did defensively this past week. There was a lot of things that we want to make sure we accomplish coming out of this game, and the players did. They accomplished a lot of the goals that we had in mind, especially against a team like the Cardinals. I mean, they're a good team. They're explosive. They have a lot of good players. The thing that we didn't want to do and we don't do is worry about who's in and who's out, who's playing, who's not. We just play the game. And I think that's how this game should be played. And the guys responded. They understood the plan, and they execute the plan. And as a coach, that's one of the things that you're really proud of, is something that you put together and you and your staff, you think about, you're in there for 12 hours in a day sometimes, and you try to figure out a plan of how you think you're going to stop this team, especially that team we just played. And then you see that all come to fruition, and the guys actually understand it and follow it to a T. So happy with the outcome. All right, but we're on to next week now.
A question about Amani. Has he always had these ball skills and it just didn't present itself? And is this something he's developed over a period of time?
Well, I would say this, just knowing him in college, he had ball skills then, so we knew that. But getting a chance to actually be with him and be around him, you really have a new appreciation for how that player attacks the ball and has hands like a receiver. To me, I think the most impressive play that he made was the other interception when he was out of bounds. The way that he went up and caught that ball, not just that, he snagged it and tried to keep himself in bounds. That's a trait that is hard to find in a lot of DBs with ball skills like that. So, he could be a special player. He really can. There's other things that he has to improve on, true enough. But if he understands that and continue to improve at the way he's improving, he can be a special player.
When you look at this week, in Patterson in particular, a guy was rushed for 500 yards,
Yeah.
got just 500 plus yards, 10 total touchdowns. I think just the challenge of scheming against a guy like that, because you really never know where he is. They use him in so many different spots.
I think that's the one thing that this team has done in particular, is utilize their talent to help those guys be successful. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I'm dead on this. This is probably the most productive he's been, talking about offensively, right, throughout his career. So you have to give a lot of credit to that head coach, offensive coordinator, as far as putting him in those positions. But you're right. Because they have a lot of different personnel packages, and we have to make sure that we don't get so lost in all the different personnel packages, which allows our guys to just go out there and play. But just be aware of where he's at, right, and understand that he's a threat. And that's what we always do each week. Who are the guys that are threats to make sure we can try to take those guys out?
One more on Amani, if I may. You said he could be a special player.
Yeah.
He's playing very well this year. I'm just curious, what's the next level for him? What does he have to do in his game to take him?
Shut down corner as far as his man skills, as far as his off-man skills. We already know that he can go and get the ball. But can you put him on the best guy, and can he take that guy out? And I think that's what every corner wants to be able to do.
So what does Amani have to do to get to that level?
It's all about work. That's everybody. You don't get anywhere in this league without working. And I don't think I have to tell him that. So if he wants to be one of the best guys, right, he has to put it in his head that he just have to work.
How many of those guys are in the league? How many shutdown corners are there in the league right now in your opinion?
That's hard to say because I don't know them all. But I do think there's a such thing, and I know there's people saying that there's no such thing as shutdown corner. I do think there's guys that people shy away from. I think Ramsey is one of them. I think Marshawn Lattimore is one of them. Those guys are dynamic players, dynamic athletes, and they have a mentality that's different than a lot of other corners. And that's where really put those guys over the top. It's just the mentality, right? And you have a number of those guys in this league. So I do believe in that. I think Amani can get to that point, but again, he has to put the work in.
Does he have that mentality? He's maybe a quieter guy than Ramsey.
Well, you don't have to talk to have that mentality, just because Ramsey do it. Because Lattimore, he's not a big talker, all right, but he's one of the tougher guys I've been around. So as long as you go out there and you shut a guy down, I mean, that's your talking.
Have you had this conversation with Amani about becoming a shutdown corner?
Well, we've had several conversations on him just growing, you know, because I want Amani to be Amani. I don't want him to be Rams. I don't want him to be Lattimore. I want him to be who he is. And whatever that is, whatever we can get out of him, I mean, I'll be happy with that. And right now, we're getting a lot out of him.
Another guy who's played really well for you guys defensively this year, Charles Harris.
Yeah.
What sort of piece do you envision him being for your future on defense? You know, I know his contract's up, it's looking ahead a little bit, but.
Well, yeah, you're going ahead a little bit. But we'll see how that all turns out. You know, that's not up to me. The thing that I know I like the player and I want the player, all right? But what he's done is he's bought into every little thing that we've talked about defensively. And usually when you do that as a player, all right, you see success behind that. And I told him, just like I told the whole defense, Charles, your success has a lot to do with everybody else doing things around you. So it's just not about you. So you have to understand that. So when it's your time to do things for other people, you have to make sure you do that. And that's what this defense is really built on. I mean, everybody is playing for each other. Everybody wants to see success out of the man next to them. And there are certain things that you have to do to make sure that happens. All right, and people are doing that for Charles, and Charles is doing that for other people also.
There's a couple of things we know about the way this roster was constructed. I mean, in the short term, a lot of one-year deals,
Yeah.
as Dave Penn mentioned, and we also know it's a collaborative process here. You know, everybody has a voice and it's open lines of communication. So as we get here to the stretch run, just maybe shine some light on what kind of conversations you might have with Dan or Brad about your hopes of keeping a guy in the fold to be part of the big picture, whether it's Charles or anyone. What kind of conversations are you having?
How do we beat Atlanta? That's the conversation that we're having. How do we beat Atlanta? Because that stuff is irrelevant right now. Because you know what? He's a part of the Detroit Lions right now. So I want to get the most I can get out of that player right now. And that, we'll handle that when it's time to handle it. But how do we beat Atlanta?
That's a January 10th conversation.
Then we don't play Atlanta.
What's staple of Arthur Smith offense?
Say it again.
When you watch them, what's maybe a staple of what Arthur's brought to them offensively?
Toughness. I told our guys this. I mean, this is going to be a totally different game than last week. Last week was more of run and gun, right? Let's get after the quarterback, let's go. This week, we're going to have to grind it out because of the run game. You clearly see that he's trying to bring Tennessee right to Atlanta, the two back sets, all the big people, the 22 personnel, the 13 personnel, and running downhill. All right, so the mindset has to be a little bit different than last week. It's make sure you buckle your chin strap. All right, so you clearly see him bringing that, and to me, it just reminds me of football back in the day. All right, that's what he's bringing. So teams that's not built for that, doesn't want that, you clearly see that he could take them out. All right, so our guys know it, they understand it, and we just have to be up for the challenge.
Just to sort of follow up on that, I think Dan said that after the game Sunday, with the game plan you guys had, you either win that game or you lose by 50. I think that was his line. Why did that aggressiveness work for you Sunday? You know, why do you have to change it so much this week?
The first thing that I told the staff in our defensive meeting is I've went against a guy like this, I think it was 2018, all right, Russell Wilson. And I remember with the Saints, we three-man rushed him. And man, he killed us. I said, I would never do that. If I get my opportunity, you know, I would never do that. And they all looked like, ooh, this is Kyler now. I'm like, I don't care. All right, if we're gonna go down, we're gonna go down swinging. All right, so that was our plan. You know, we was gonna go after him, and I think once the guys heard that, I mean, they were excited about it, because who won't get excited about getting a chance to just let's go after him. And they didn't care that, you know, he was the guy that's going to get up. Man, they just knew exactly how disciplined do I have to be to make sure this guy doesn't get around me and escape, you know, outside the pocket. And again, those guys bought into it. And again, I mean, once you can make a plan, the players believe in it, man, it's a beautiful thing to watch them go and execute.
Jalen was sort of right at the heart of a lot of stuff you did on Sunday.
Say it again.
Jalen Reed maybe was sort of right at the heart of a lot of what you did on Sunday. Have you seen him take his game to another level here this year?
You know what? I have, to be honest with you. And I think that has a lot with the opportunity. And sometimes you don't know what a player can do until you see him go out there in live action and play. That's why I keep saying each week, in practice, if a guy shows that he's going to play, he's going to get his opportunity. Josh Woods, Barnes, Jalen Elliott, like all these guys. Man, I don't think there's a guy that's on our defense that hasn't had a chance to play, Gilbert. And to me, that's just how it is. And I think that will be a selling point to anybody that wants to be a part of our defense or our team. That, man, if you go out there and you show that you can do it, you're going to get your opportunity. Now, it's not just talk. You know, it is what it is. I mean, the proof is in the pudding because you see guys out there getting a chance. So that's what we're all about, you know, as coaches, is regardless of who you are, if you can help us, you're going to get a chance to play.
Wonderful on that. A little bit, you know, with the injuries and illness, you had a lot of guys out there playing their roles as you kind of noted. Some guys that didn't really have any role early in the season, guys like Jesse Lemonnier and CJ Moore. I'm just curious, of the guys that maybe played bigger roles in these games, did you learn anything maybe you didn't know from what you were able to see from them on the practice field?
That, like I said, like they're in the meeting room, they cash a check. They got to be ready to play. And to me, when players feel that you operate that way, you just see a level of the learning, you see a level of their plan actually get to the level that you want it to be, because there's expectations. And they all know, man, you're in that meeting room, we expect you to know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, shame on you. Shame on you, because the next man is going to get the opportunity. And if he shines, you just lost your opportunity, because opportunities are lost more than anything else. So that's just the way we've been operating for a while, and I don't see that changing.